my God, man. Do you know what this means? This ghetto's gonna be turned upside down, I tell you, upside down. If you get on his bad side, brother, you're done for. Now, it's only a matter of time before he finds out, and when he does, no matter where he is, get ready, gentlemen, because hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming.
You think you're the best? I hope you are. A Gundam mobile suit is a fully articulated, fully equipped machine, armed with the most sophisticated weaponry known to man. To be a complete Gundam pilot, you must train on both Gundam systems. Believe me, gentlemen, to beat the best, you have to be the best.
Hey, this is Stephanie Shea, and you're listening to Gundam at MAHQ.
How has this become about a Gorn wedding? What are you avoiding?
Look, I'm just telling you the events of Stardate 57791.1, all right? Damn, rude.
I want details on how you stole the bird of prey.
I know, man. Me too.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Gundam at MAHQ. This is one of your hosts, Neo, and joining me always is the Sobro and the Chris. Guys, say hello.
What's happening, everybody?
Yo.
Yo.
With the smooth shit, I see you.
Yes. Yes. But welcome to episode 284 of Gundam at MAHQ. And oh man, like last episode was a double topic. We're back to a single topic.
Oh man!
And man, this I you know what, Chris? What's the over under of a Soulbro dance happening in this episode? I think it's going to be happening there because we're going to be talking about something that really makes the Soulbro dance.
Does it really?
Star Trek Lower Decks. Yeah.
There will definitely be Soulbro dancing.
No doubt.
There will be Soulbro dancing. Yes.
It looks a lot like the Snoopy dance, huh?
Well, you do realize, I think, I forget what fast food chains got the tie-in, but I think this Sunday, if some NFL player scores Sunday. No, if an NFL player scores a touchdown and does the chicken dance in the end zone, somebody gets a free chicken.
Oh,
I forget who it is. I don't know if it's KFC. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. But yeah, that's been going on there. Yeah, I heard that on a podcast earlier this week. I'm like, oh wait. So it's kind of like when they, what was it? Steal a base, get a free taco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but yes, we will be talking about Season 4 of Star Trek Lower Decks. Even though, is it really Lower Decks at this point? Isn't it just like junior officer quarters or junior officer decks at this point? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Mid-decks.
There you go.
Oh, what is it? Your cabin is right by the nacelle. Is that what happened in there?
Yes. Yeah, that shit was great.
So, but yes. And of course, we will be doing spoilers. So if you haven't seen season 4 and you don't want to be spoiled, like, really, can it be spoiled? Not really. But, you know, then don't listen to this. But, guys, anything as I saunter over to the Larry King Memorial News Studio for some Neo listener submitted news?
Oh man, I'm ready. I'm ready for some news.
You are ready for news. Chris, you ready? Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you entertained, Chris? Are you?
Oh, I'm entertained.
There you go. First one here comes from MCT Dread, and this is a good one here because me and Chris brought up something to me that I didn't know that there was a Wikipedia page for, but it looks like the Guillermo del Toro scrapped Jabba the Hutt film was the film that he was supposed to do for Star Wars about Jabba the Hutt was scrapped. So, and I guess Chris was telling me right before we got on that there's a whole Wikipedia page about like what ifs, like the what if Guillermo del Toro did this. So, yeah, it looks like coming from IGN here, Guillermo del Toro had revealed his scrapped Star Wars film was about Jabba the Hutt's Scarface-like ascension through the Hutt crime syndicate. You know what?
Yes.
Actually, if I was Bob
this.
Iger, yeah, I mean, this has got to be greenlit. Seriously, Bob Iger. I mean, come on.
Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Live a little.
The bones of Walt Disney. Can you do something about this? Because
The bones.
you're telling me that Jabba the Hutt has he's like Tony Montana ascending through the. I'm sold on this. I don't know about you
So
guys.
what do they do with the bones of Walt Disney? Does some voodoo priest put them all together and shake them up like chicken bones?
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
you know, just take one of those cultural appropriations from like, Fantasyland or something like that. Or oh yeah, that's right. They're taking them all out of there. So
As long as you leave his
yeah.
head alone and leave it in the freezer where it's been.
Yeah, it says here that Del Toro was speaking on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. That's an interesting name for a podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know what, Guillermo del Toro, I'm kind of pissed that you didn't come to us because we love Pacific Rim.
We did.
And, yeah, we're like the only people that liked it. So
I would say that, but
no, we are. I would say that.
Oh,
And
man.
I feel that's terrible that he wouldn't go on there. So you know what, I give you an open invitation, Guillermo del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
If you say you're going to come on, we might get you on the episode after the next episode that's scheduled. So
no doubt.
to talk, yeah,
Might.
right. Might, yeah. So I don't know. You guys interested in this? I mean, Jabba the Hutt's kind of played out, but if he's going to have like the Scarface like ascension through the crime syndicate, I mean, that kind of sounds cool, right? I mean,
I don't know how you do that with that character though. That character's so. He's so big. Like, how do you convey? He seems like he's in it for. He's in the series for some kind of comedic factor. Although I know he can be deadly serious, and if you watch, the times he shows up in like the animated stuff or where he shows up in the movies, he's supposed to be taken as this gangster that's supposed to be feared. But every time you see Jabba the Hutt, I just can't help but smile because it just is ridiculous to me that a creature like that is it's running a crime syndicate. But whatever, that's cool. But I know that Del Toro enjoys creatures, loves to make movies based around monsters and whatnot. He would probably do very well with this, and I can't help but say that my curiosity is piqued when it comes to his involvement when it comes down to it.
so Chris, as somebody living in Miami, which is basically it's never changed from Tony Montana's Miami in 1984, 85 when Scarface came out, right? That's because that's how everybody sees it.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
exactly the same. How would you feel about this? I mean, you'd have to be full for this, right? I mean, with all the with all the violence and all the other stuff. I mean, Jabba with a chainsaw scene. I mean, that sounds pretty cool, right? I mean,
yeah, I want to see like, oh, little friend, oh,
Yes.
and it just does a line of space coke.
Exactly.
Yeah, what is it? There is a drug though. Was it? Is this
Spice.
in the? Yeah, spice. That's right. Yep,
The
spice.
classic, man.
Yep. So, yeah, big plate of spice in front of them. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess we'll never get that. So, I mean, jeez, I don't know what we could have had, and I guess we have another entry in the what if of Guillermo del Toro had been given money to do something. So, next one here comes from MCT Dread, and it looks like Bandai Namco announced that service for Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans G will end on January 11th, 2024. The mobile game launched for Android and iOS devices in November 2022. So, not even 2 years. So, Chris, I mean, I know you probably have this loaded on your phone. Are you pissed about this or what?
No, I didn't even bother playing this. And also, like, they announced this thing like 4 years ago, and the amount of time it took to wait for it to come out is far greater than the amount of time it actually was a live game.
Yo. Damn.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay.
That's foolishness. Damn it.
Well, for any of those that had it, it was set between the first and second season of the original anime series, and it featured a new character and protagonist called Unstaro Afem. So hopefully I pronounced that correctly, but in a lot of ways it doesn't matter at this point. So yeah, it's had some 6 side stories, and so yeah, R.I.P. Iron-Blooded Orphans. You know what? Here's a good thing with Iron-Blooded Orphans. Maybe I'm just thinking if we're gonna do another Iron-Blooded Orphans like spin-off thing, I'm gonna say Iron-Blooded Orphans: The Chaos War. Like maybe just like see what the hell it was, because like those 3 that 15 minutes we had in that one episode where it's like the mobile armor is gonna kill us. It's from the Chaos War. Okay. And that's bad in what way? I don't know. So maybe we can.
Well, do you have the follow-up item later in your list?
Oh, well, shit. Really? There's follow-up items? Okay.
Yeah, there's a follow-up item.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, there definitely is.
Okay, hold on. Hold on there. Hold on. All right. Well, let me. I do this.
You'll get to it. You'll get to it.
I'll get to it.
Yeah, you'll get.
Damn, you spoiled it, Chris.
Spoilers.
Damn you.
Oh boy.
But I didn't say what it was, unlike Soulbro.
No, that's true. That is true.
Come on now.
Well, I'll go through these next things.
Go for it.
Now you piqued my interest.
Oh shit.
Now it says MCT Dread says that the Ghost in the Shell franchise gets a brand new global website, and it's going to be a new site collecting manga, anime, and live action work launches. So,
oh shit, that's so cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and it was announced on X, formerly known as Twitter. I love that. Everything is like they did it on X, formerly known as Twitter. It's like I didn't know that X became like Prince when he went through that whole phase with the thing. The artist formerly
yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the social media site formerly known as Twitter. Oh, jeez. Okay, I see what you got. Oh my gosh, MC2J comes back. Iron-Blooded Orphans. G Apps Abhor Hunt animation gets standalone anime release. There you go. There you go. Yeah, man. There you go. It's going to be there was a teaser promotional video that announced the mostly Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphans, or Hunt, an anime spin-off of the Mobile Suit Gundam television series, and it's going to be in the game. So, wow, man. That is great. Oh, man, Chris. I know you're feeling good. I know you're feeling good about that. So, all right. In the last
some cool designs, so, I check them
Definitely
out on
awesome.
MAHQ.
Next one here comes from MCT Dread again. And it looks like Legend of the Galactic Heroes Dainus, these anime series sequel announced. So it looks like a new entry has been announced for Legend of the Galactic Heroes, the ongoing TV anime adaptation of the series of epic science fiction light novels. And, it looks like it's going to be coming in. God, these guys always look good. Motherfuckers, Reinhard. You see these guys, it's like, God damn. You know what, HBO? This is what you guys need to make.
I'm telling you, dude. They need
this
to.
is the next. This is the next thing.
Oh
Bob
Wait,
Iger.
so, bro, what do you know about it, huh?
I've watched 60 episodes of the original series.
Yeah, but that's
so
not,
I mean, I
that's
have
nothing.
Seen, I know
that's
it's
a
nothing.
Tuesday.
But
That's a Tuesday for a Legend of Galactic Heroes.
But
fan.
it's
Come
significantly
on. Come
more
on.
than nothing.
It's less than something.
Yeah, fair.
So...
Fair. But I've seen enough of the show to know the potential that it would have if it was adapted. You may want to update it some, but other than that, man, it would be really cool to see something like this.
Yeah,
it really would
right.
to see it adapted. But we'll see what happens.
Let me ask you something, so bro.
Mm-hmm.
How could you watch 60 episodes of Galactic Heroes and not feel compelled
to
watch
finish
the rest?
Yeah, exactly.
How did you do that? How did you do that?
I made the mistake of watching it on stream, and so I felt I felt that I should continue watching it on stream. Then time got away from me. That's it. If I was to start it again, I would start from the beginning, and I would run through it on my own volition, as opposed to doing it the way I did, and just watch it. That's what I would do. It is intimidating to have to sit down, but I've watched longer series, so it's not like it would be terrible, or not terrible, but tough for me to actually watch all that.
And
I've
watched. I've watched the show. I've watched the OVAs. I watched the movies. I even read the damn books. I even read the books and bought the books when they translated and released here. I read all of them.
You a diehard, sir. Yeah, you would.
I am a diehard. Yeah, I am. And I'm saying this right now. Yeah, I'm saying this right now. HBO, you want something better? Do this. Or, you know what? Screw it. Disney, just scrap the MCU. This is what you got. You got so much content right here.
Damn.
Yeah, just screw it. Blow it all up. I don't care.
Fucking burn it down.
So burn it all down, right? Yeah, burn it down. So yeah. Oh, that's Galactic Heroes. It would be great to see that. It's like if I ran HBO, I would greenlight that show, and I'd greenlight live action Gotcha Man. That would be. Well,
instead, the guy who greenlights the stuff at HBO had lackeys create fake Twitter accounts to attack people who offered up the mildest of criticisms for his shows, and this is the game that went on for a while, and then just got exposed. And his response was, "Well, instead of having lackeys create fake accounts for me, I just attack people via DM now." Like, oh, okay, so. Good that you're in charge of this stuff. Very thin-skinned fucker.
Right?
He's
and no slap on the wrist, nothing. Just go on like business as usual. That fucking guy.
Discovery was like no commento.
He's Hollywood Kevin Garnett, who maintains like the NBA star Kevin Garnett's got like 3 different burner accounts on social media. And he gets mad when people talk shit about him. It's hilarious. So. Wow. Yeah. So the last one here comes from, and this is directed specifically for me. Yes, MC Dread. I had seen this earlier. Yes. Looks like Gundam's made it mainstream, man. Gundam has made it mainstream. Not really, because it's dealing with F1, and F1's not specifically mainstream yet, but it's getting there. It's
maybe not in the States, but around the world it certainly is, right? It's one of the...
Well, America only matters, man. What are you talking about? What are you, communist?
You tell that to FIFA.
Yeah.
I only watch NASCAR like the Lord Jesus intended.
Oh, no, NASCAR just got Star Wars with Bubba, what's his name?
Woke Star Wars.
Star Wars, and Mark Hamill gave him the car.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Believe me. No, it's no big deal. I'm glad that F1's getting its people are finding it popular again. I mean, I've been living it for many years as a young kid. So, but I'm this one blew me away. I didn't know this was going to happen. And I am kind of pissed because I hate AlphaTauri less than I hate Red Bull because they're both part of Red Bull because I am AMG Petronas, Mercedes AMP Petronas team, and sometimes Ferrari. I like one of the drivers of Ferrari, but yeah, there is going to be so AlphaTauri is one of the teams. One of the drivers is Yuki Tsunoda, who's a Japanese driver, and yeah, they partnered with them, and they, if you go to this picture, he's actually in a Federation uniform.
He's in a normal suit.
He's in a normal suit, and there is going to be an RX-78-2 in the livery that you would find of the AlphaTauri
No way.
F1 racer. Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's pretty goddamn cool.
Man.
I do like the AlphaTauri livery because they have great wheels. They got like last year they had like white walls. I don't know how they did it, but it looked like they had white walls on the rims.
Yeah.
And this year they have like this thing that looks like arrows. So I do kind of like their stuff, even though they're part of Red Bull and I hate Red Bull. But yeah, so it looks like Yuki Tsunoda did a promotional video, yeah, I mean, he talks about it. The Fabian Werbretz, the director of marketing communications for AlphaTauri, said Gundam is a globally recognized and beloved media franchise with the passionate fans in every corner of the world. Will immediately embrace Gundam's spirit and delighted to welcome as a partner of the Scuderia AlphaTauri team for 2023 for the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which is happening this weekend. And yeah, so we collaborate. I mean, this is really, really cool, and this comes out of nowhere. And they've been doing this lately in Formula One, where they just do these collaborations on stuff. I think like Ferrari just released today that they're going to have the rear wing's going to be white, which is like you would never see just white on a Ferrari. It's always got to be red or black.
Oh yeah. So
yeah, it's a partnership between Bandai Namco's Gundam brand and Scuderia AlphaTauri, and yeah. So yeah, this is pretty goddamn cool. The Gundam there's on this particular article, they don't have. It looks like there is a model kit in the livery. So yeah, so they're gonna have Gundam decals on both the headrests of the AlphaTauri cars, and that's gonna be cool. I can't even believe that. So tomorrow morning when I watch Free Practice 1 and Free Practice 2, like I always do, especially since tomorrow I have day off. So yeah, this is cool.
Nice.
I mean,
nice.
I never really thought this would happen. This is absolutely really cool.
It shocked me when I saw it earlier this week. It's like, wow, that's super cool. It's like, man, all these sci-fi franchises being involved in racing all of a sudden, but this one's significant because Gundam has a big presence overseas, but this is an event that's here in the States for F1, and this is where it's debuting. So it's like, wow, that's super cool. I hope it brings a lot of Gundam fans to check this out, because F1's always exciting to watch. I don't get to watch too many races, but just the risk involved and how much technique it takes to drive those cars. Those cars are like the cutting edge of automobiles, pretty much, and a lot of the technology that comes from F1 ends up in our cars eventually. It's just how the nature of the beast works. So just to see this represented out there, it's cool. I don't know how long this will last, but it'll be nice. And they'll probably sell a model of this F1 car as well eventually that you could put together. I'm wondering if Namco will do that.
I'm sure you do. I'll go on the F1 website and see if in the store.
If they don't have it yet, I'm sure they will. Eventually.
Yeah, buy car. I'm actually surprised they didn't do this in Suzuka, but it does make sense because Formula One is treating the Las Vegas Grand Prix as kind of like their Super Bowl.
Oh,
like
shit.
they feel like this is the one that's gonna really just enrapture everybody. I mean, because F1 is, the Drive to Survive series on Netflix has captured a lot of people. Yeah. It's the last 2 years it's been back on ESPN. It used to be on Old Speed channel before that. I mean, come on. I'm a lifer on this stuff. Yeah. And I'm glad to see it, but I never thought this. I mean, and if there is a car I can buy on this, a model, I will buy it, even though I will hate it because it's part of the hated rival.
Yeah.
No, I won't even drink Red Bull. Like the site that I work at, like a couple of weeks ago, they were like giving free Red Bull in the cafeteria. I'm like, no, can't do it. I drink anything but Red Bull.
Anything.
So, yeah, because of what happened in 2021 between Max and Lewis, but that's okay.
True.
But cool stuff. And Chris, I expect the RX-78-2 Scuderia AlphaTauri to be in the line art of MAHQ. I don't expect it. I demand it. So
It's already there.
okay, thank you.
Done.
But no, that's cool stuff, and I'll try to get some pics and stuff and put it on X, formerly known as Twitter. So, but that's the news that I have, guys. You got anything, Chris? You got anything? Any exciting happenings in MHQ or?
I published a pretty long essay today, just before we recorded, about just a retrospective on Right Stuff and the place that it occupied in the American anime industry, and how we're soft now for them being gone.
Yeah, it is gone. Yeah, that's a sad thing. I mean, yeah, what do you do at this point?
Wow, look at this run back picture. Wow, man. Now, what an epitaph you wrote. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a lot longer than I expected, so I guess I had more to say on this.
A stream of
subject than I
consciousnness? Just like a stream of consciousness that flowed out? I mean, it's definitely an end of an era. I mean, it's... Because I always felt like they were still they were like the last of like the renegades, like, the anti-corporate kind of, like, we're just going to do what we feel what seems right, but now they are gone. So, but all right, Solbro, anything on your side?
No, I mean, there was a bunch of trailers that dropped this week, but I can't think of anything that was like Mecha related that that dropped, save for the stuff you already covered. So yeah, man, I'm ready to rock. If something comes to mind, I'll save it for after the segment.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for always submitting. If you ever have any news, you can always submit it to the Neos Listen Spin and News Articles thread in the Gundam section of the Mecha Talk forum. And I guess with that, we're just going to go into our thoughts, highlights, lowlights, and what we, just a general discussion about Season 4 of Star Trek Lower Decks, or I guess now also known as Mid Decks, right? So, but Chris, you want to give us a quick synopsis of this of the season? I mean, real quick, so I'm sure the way this show is, it just makes sense to just start bringing up things we like, but
So, season starts with the lower deckers all being promoted to lieutenant junior grade, and actually promoted, not just little bits of corn accidentally on their collars. But this creates some problems for Mariner, which will be a continuing thread throughout the season. And also, there's an ongoing thread about a mysterious white ship that is attacking starships from different alien races and seemingly destroying them. But it is more than it seems, and it's a mystery that is not resolved until the last 2 episodes of the season. So that's your quick synopsis.
There you go. Nice.
So bro.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let you lead off. We know your feet are ready. They're warmed up, ready to go. just give it to us.
Yeah, let me not pull my hammy.
Just give it to us. Come on.
Oh man. Oh damn, you sound excited. No. No, this season was a lot of fun, man. It went by way too fast, as it always does, man. I know that the episodes were pretty varied this season. I know the first 5 had at least some involvement with Talin, the new crew member of the ship, who I already enjoyed from when she first appeared at the end of season 2, the penultimate episode of season 2, Wedge Dooge, when she helped to save the day in that particular episode. for her to eventually end up on the Cerritos by the end of season 3, to see her take at least some kind of active role in season 4 and be pretty much become part of the lower deckers. She's there right on time to get a promotion with the rest of them. So, it's fantastic, but she's played very, very astutely by the actress that voices her, and I just love the fact that she says the obvious in all these situations. They don't compromise the fact that she's Vulcan in this show. With the way the show goes off the rails sometimes. A lot of times she still stays on target, and I like that. But she also can go with the flow too. Where she said, what did they say in that one episode 5? I'm Vulcan like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah, she did say that, didn't
Yes. Well, first Mariner said it, and then she got on board with that, and I just love how game she is, man. Despite the fact that she's Vulcan. One thing that did surprise me about her though was the fact that she has Bendai syndrome, which retroactively might explain a little bit of her insubordinate ways when she first showed up in Wage Douche a little bit, but I think she's way too young to have Bendy syndrome, right? Like she's like only 6.
Heard of early onset dementia?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we also don't know exactly what the progress on the study of that is, and if it's going to end up being, terrible for her down the road. So that was a little bit concerning. But other than that, that episode was a lot of fun. That was Empological Fallacies, episode 5, with the Beta Z emissaries / agents that came on board the ship, and it was thought that they were causing the chaos on there, and it turns out that it was T'Lyn all the while with the Bendy syndrome. It's like, man. I didn't even realize that would be the twist. Although, if you watch the episode, you'll notice that Bendy syndrome actually comes up on the monitor that her and Mariner are standing in front of before they actually come to the discovery of it. So there's a bit of a logical, there's a bit of a continuity issue in that episode. I don't know if they fixed it now, but when it first aired, you can actually see it on the monitor that they're working with in sickbay. But outside of that, man, T'Lyn is a fantastic character. I heard Mike McMahon say that they have a lot more planned for her in season 5. So I'm glad to hear that, because episodes 6, 7, and 8, she was sorely missed. Although those episodes are really good. I wish she would have had some part in it. But she comes back for 9 and 10. So I'm glad to see she had a role in the finale of the season. We got a bunch of Tendy's backstory this season. I was waiting for this, and I was glad to see it. We've got little droplets of it throughout the seasons, especially in the Deep Space Nine episode. But in episode 4 of this season, Something Borrowed, Something Green, it really is a showpiece for Tendi. They go to Orion, which we don't really get to see a lot of in Star Trek period. This is, I think, the first time that we had such an extensive look at the planet. Every so often there'll be a flashback to Orion, like there was in the very first episode of Star Trek, or little glimpses of Orion in Discovery. And
this is literally the first time we've seen that planet.
Really? Okay, because I know
it is the first time.
I know we've seen like locations on the planet, whether it be in the holodeck.
No, we've seen locations.
Yeah, but we've never seen the planet though.
Seen locations that Orions are in on other planets. We've never
never seen the planet.
Orion homeworld.
Well, correct me. I said corrected. I thought that at least the scene with Pike and the cage was on Orion, but that must have been on a different planet. So
no,
gotcha. Well, shit. So it's the first time we got to see Orion life, basically, and how their society pretty much works. And it was a lot of fun, man. Especially meeting Tendy's sister, and she's just so she's so salty, man. I'm a big Modern Family fan, so it was cool to see Ariel Winter play Tendy's sister, and that she was the middle child. For the Dunphys, Alex, in Modern Family. So,
that's Alex Dunphy?
Yeah, that's Alex Dunphy.
Wow.
As the voice of Tendy's sister, yep. So, as soon as I heard the voice, I was like, yo, I know that voice. And then I look at the credits, like, oh, Ariel Winter, cool.
It did sound familiar. I didn't know.
Yeah, so it's cool that she'll be a reoccurring character in the series, especially going into season 5, as we saw at in the finale, that Tendi had to make an arrangement to leave Starfleet to go back home to Orion to take her rightful place. So and it looks like she's game for it, man. She's probably going to cause a lot of trouble, and then they're going to be so happy to get rid of her eventually, and she'll go back to Starfleet. They do this shit on Lower Decks. They did it with at the end of the first season, they did it with Boimler. At the end of season 2, they did it with the captain, and now they're doing it with Tendi. So we've got a to be continued on her storyline. Other than that, man, I didn't have a bad episode in the bunch. If I was to say what my favorite episode was outside of the finale's 2-parter, I'd probably say it was episode 5, Anthropological Fallacies. But I did enjoy Parth Ferengi's Heart Place, the return of Rom, and what's her name? Leela? I forget. Lita. Thank you. Those two from Deep Space Nine. To see that Rom is the pair of them working together are pretty much changing Ferengi for the better for the most part. Even though when they were on Ferengi, you did see some naked women like strategically placed in parts of the background. So there's some traditionalist Ferengi women that are still in society, but it was cool to see that a lot of Ferengi women have gone on to be more modernized nowadays. So that's cool. But when Boimler's dumbass got into that hotel room and started watching TV. That shit was wild. The TV's shaped like the CBS logo, and then they got the Paramount logo on the back wall right behind him. And so is some of these Easter eggs are just so tongue in cheek. But that was a fun
watching
episode.
That cop landlords show, which it makes perfect sense that Ferengi Entertainment would be inspired by like 20th century Earth, because they would probably see their perspective, the 20th century, and capitalism being the epitome of our society, and where did the humans go wrong? You had it so right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Capitalism was the focus.
And I just love the fact that it's like, you think that they just do the play that Rom is the dummy, and it's like, no, he's still Ferengi. Like he was comedic relief in Deep Space Nine, but he felt like he wasn't as ruthless as Quark. But no, he's still got capitalism in his veins. So
he sure does.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see Mariner's friend come back. I believe his name was Quimp. And he's voiced by Tom Kenny, who's very famous for voicing SpongeBob SquarePants. He voiced him in the second episode of Lower Decks, where he first showed up as well. But there's of course the Voyager episode. I'll let you guys talk about that, because I know you guys have seen Voyager in full. I've only seen maybe the first 2 or 3 seasons, but I got most of the jokes in that episode. But it was a lot of fun. Other than that, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about, but it'll come back to me later.
What jokes in the Voyager episode did you not get?
No,
Silver?
I mean, I hadn't seen the episode with the that supervillain, the one with the ray gun, the one that Captain Janeway eventually ends up playing. I know a brief overview. Chaotica, thank you. Chaotica? Yeah, I've never seen that episode. I've never seen any of the Tom Paris. We're doing like old movie serials episodes.
It's holodeck thing. Captain Proton.
Captain Proton. Never seen those episodes. Proton. I think those started in like unless I forgot.
Oh my god!
I've only seen seasons 1 through 3, so I don't think they were doing it in those seasons. I could be wrong. So yeah, I have not seen those episodes, but I've seen them referenced and talked about. So I have a little bit of knowledge of them. But I still love the episode regardless.
You're like deficient, man.
I know. I need to step my shit up.
There's no true Trekkie unless you've gone through.
What do you keep doing with your time, Soul Bro?
Yo, bro,
7 seasons of Voyager, man. You need to go through this.
I need to finish
You have to deal with what we all dealt with.
Yeah.
I mean,
Captain Janeway's captaining. Is that what you'd say?
No. You know what? I've never.
Oh man.
Voyager is a flawed show.
Yes.
But there's some great episodes.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that really make you think. There's some that are horrible. I mean, it's not the pinnacle. I don't hate Janeway. Like a lot of people a lot of people give her crap.
Mm-hmm.
There is like the whole nonsense at the end with the whole future. Spoiler alert, it's only been like 30 years, but the whole, future Janeway and telling, but it's. I mean, you still have to watch it. I mean,
Yeah, I want to.
There are some great episodes. Like
Yeah.
I think the best one that one of the ones I love the most is you remember the one, Chris, about the probe from the prior to Starfleet, the United Earth thing, that it ends up destroying the planet. That's a very good episode. Like I thought it was. I don't know, Chris. Did you like? I thought it was a really good Star Trek episode. Like it's always stood out to me when it came to the Voyager. So
I actually remember the last thing I wanted to talk about. Captain Freeman is cemented her place as my third favorite captain now. It's
really,
yep. It's Picard and Cisco in a very close heat, and then Captain Freeman. The reason why is she stepped her shit up.
Wait. Hold. Captain Freeman's better than Kirk?
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes.
Kirk.
Yeah.
All versions of Kirk.
All versions of Kirk. I like Kirk,
Okay.
but Kirk is not my favorite. Not remotely. There's other people in this crew.
Captain Freeman.
Yeah, Captain Freeman, man. She's been quite sharp this season. Whether it comes down to negotiating with Rom or dealing with the what was the situation? There was a situation in another episode that she fixed that computer on Ringworld, although with a lot of difficulty, but she handled that. And then there was the shit that happened on the Star Wars planet in episode 9, where they did a switcheroo and had Billups pretend to be like the Billups Lorian. And use him as kind of like a distraction to the trouble they were going to run into on the planet with getting information. So, it was a pretty cool ploy that she pulled off with having Billups be the one to disguise himself so that way they could get the information they were looking for. So that was pretty slick. But yeah, she's been so much better as a captain, even in the episode where episode 5, where she was dealing with not the Bajorans, but the Betazoids, the Zoids. I can't believe they call them Zoids. Dealing with the Zoids. And that whole situation, even if she was under the influence of Talin's condition, she managed. And I gotta say that I very much love Captain Freeman, and I will stand for her. So that's it. I really enjoyed this season. It had a solid ending. I know we'll get down to it, but go ahead.
So Captain Freeman is better than Kirk and even Pike, right?
I mean, I love Pike, but Pike has still got some seasons to go. Freeman right now is 4 seasons deep. Pike is only 2. So, but Pike is great. If I had to place Pike would probably be number 4. I really enjoy Pike. I put Pike above Kirk personally. That's me. I know that's blasphemy in your eyes. I know you love Kirk to death, but I'm gonna toss it back. You guys. Feel free to give your opinions about the season.
Captain Freeman's like the Benny Hill of Star Trek captains.
Yo, stop.
Come on.
In all fairness, Sobro said his favorite, not the best.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
That's flawed.
Done.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Chris, for bringing that up.
Sobro's captains.
Yeah. Chris?
I gotta say there were a lot of standouts this season. There's a season opener, Tuvix, having this story of some Voyager nostalgia and running through the greatest hits of the stinky cheese and the macrophages, and also turning one of the most convoluted ethical debates in Star Trek into just a total joke.
Yes.
With all of these weird Tuvix combinations like Freeman and Big Limo, and just increasingly getting weirder and weirder as time goes on. I thought it was hilarious, and I'm definitely on the Janeway was right side of the Tuvix debate.
Oh, I know. This actually kind of settled it, right? I mean,
it didn't, because they eventually got to a situation where it only made sense to undo it, because they had a blob in their hands. There was no sense to leave it that way.
She was right. I mean, in a way, because it just ended up being just a blob. I mean,
that's fair.
You can't do that. Yeah, I mean.
So one of the standouts of the season for me definitely was Moopsie, because
oh boy,
oh my God.
every every Star Trek group that I'm in has been completely overrun with Moopsy memes.
Oopsie.
And I'm here for it.
I will say this: before I even saw this episode, all I saw on the internet was Moopsy. Moopsy's coming. The Moopsy. I'm like, what the? I mean, I'm like, what is going on with this? And then you see it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this was just perfect for a meme. It was the perfect thing for a meme.
It's goddamn nightmare fuel is what it is.
Oh my god,
Holy
yeah!
shit.
I thought it was gonna be like this, like devouring thing. It's like, see, that's the Moopsy.
Yeah.
And then yes, of course, you see it sucks the bones out of you. But you know, hey.
Drinking the bones, which I read in an interview.
It's horrible.
When they were animating this. The instruction that Mike McMahon gave the animators was to model it off of a kid going to town on a Capri Sun.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
oh my god, that makes sense now. Thinking about how
All the sense.
the Moopsy did. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, you can't believe how many times I find Capri Sun packets around my house because my nephew comes over and drinks all of them up. I said, motherfucker, put this in the garbage.
Well, better that
like
than,
rocket
boneless
fuel.
people
Oh
tossed
yeah.
aside by the Moopsy.
Oh my god.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you'd have to move if that happened, Silver.
Indeed.
Another
you-
highlight, as Sobro mentioned, something borrowed something green for seeing all this backstory about Tendi and finally learning about her. We had all that backstory about Rutherford last year, and we learned about him, and we got Tendi and Mariner this year. So I'm wondering, what's the secret hidden history of Boimler that we have yet to see?
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be something. Yeah. He's compensating for something.
The only thing we know about Boimler is that he loves his mom. That's it. And he lived on a raisin farm. Other than that, that's all we
Raisin
know.
Farm, yes.
Exactly.
And that he's completely oblivious to harems.
Yes. Completely.
Anime-style harems.
Foolishness.
The Ferengi episode was fun. That Ferengi Experience bar, kind of a send-up of Star Trek: The Experience. I was amused by the death penalty for pretending to be a couple when you're not, and
Yes.
that whole game that Rutherford and Tendi had to play. And it was great seeing Rom and Lita again to see how they've been doing post DS9, and obviously having their original actors come back. And it was fun to watch the negotiations, because if you watch DS9, that Rom was seen as a dumb guy, but actually was really smart. So knowing that context, you can see that he's totally playing that stupid admiral,
Oh yes.
and
Yeah.
that Freeman absolutely gets it, but is not in a position to say otherwise because her boss just keeps overruling her with his stupidity.
Yep.
I will note also, that's the same admiral that Mariner made fun of for saying censors.
Way back to season
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, clearly not the brightest of the bunch
No.
out of the Admiralty.
Have we seen any real bright ones from the Admiralty? Starfleet Admiralty is not always batting at not always bad
Admiral
300. on
Picard
this
and
one.
Admiral Janeway and Admiral Kirk.
That's like kind of it kind of steps off after that, doesn't it? Yeah, it's like, ugh.
Well, you know what, you got to give a good Admiral award to Ross, because he's probably one of the best admirals.
Well, wasn't the guy that died in Best of Both Worlds? Was he an admiral?
Hayes?
Yes, he was.
Yes,
He was.
No. Was it Hayes? I thought it was Hansen.
Hansen. Yeah, Hayes was in First Contact. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Hansen.
Yeah.
He got killed.
He was an admiral, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He was not bad.
No, he was good
But
too.
Ro-
Yeah.
Hey,
Ross is still the MVP.
I'll give props
Yeah.
to Admiral Freeman. He hasn't done much, but he's not bad, so he's kind of neutral.
Yeah.
But his friend was bad.
Yes,
Yeah, his run was bad. Yep.
without a doubt.
Speaking of bad, I was surprised to see Badgie come back, but it was amusing
Oh yeah.
to see Badgie come back for one more round, and all these different permutations like Good G and Logic E.
Oh
and,
yeah.
He ascended to higher plane and saw the koala.
Mhm.
Which, Boimler also saw the koala this season, and it's like they sure have been focusing on the koala and the Black Mountain a lot recently. So
You know what the koala said to him?
Yes.
Oh yeah. For those who don't know, if you actually play the audio of that scene backwards, he says, "It's not your time yet, Bradford Boimler." Exactly those words, and then that's when Boimler gets zapped back into his body. So yeah, it's kind of freaky.
So this is like Metallica Fade to Black, where it says take the gun and shoot yourself. Like you.
Oh wow, I never knew that. Holy shit.
Oh, there's a whole lawsuit on that. I don't know if it was Fade to Black or something, but yeah, there's a whole thing like, yeah. I just laugh about that because when I hear you play stuff backwards,
yeah,
that's that whole thing of like those Christian assholes back in like the 80s and 90s,
yeah,
thinking like all the metal bands. If you play it backwards, it says like, eat Satan, believe in Satan, he'll deliver you and eat all the children. And it's like, what? I didn't hear I just hear gibberish. So when you said that, I was like, oh crap, okay.
Man.
I think it was
yeah. I don't know. You'd have to see.
I gotta look, yeah.
As a longtime Star Trek fan, I love that they did an entire episode as a send up to cave episodes.
Yes, thank you.
And that one cave set that they used on Next Gen DS9 and Voyager just over and over again, and that they even they recycled the cave to have look the same in all of these different cave episodes that they're referring back to from Lower Decks, which I thought was hilarious, and it's all stuff that we had never seen before, and had kind of it was a touching episode almost. It was fun. It was also fun seeing Jeffrey Combs back again as the evil computer, because you can never have too much Jeffrey Combs in Star Trek.
Absolutely.
And
how much Star Trek has he been in?
He got played by Boimler.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last two episodes, I definitely was not expecting that the entire arc was leading to the return of Nick Locarno, voiced by Robert Duncan McNeil, and that, of course, they went for the obvious joke of saying, "Hey, he looks like Tom Paris," which finally puts to bed nearly 30 years of fan theories of like, Tom was Nick, but he got back into the academy with this different, that doesn't make any, what?
Makes no sense.
Starfleet Academy, it's not just, a bar where you put on a hat and a mustache and you try to pretend that you're, legal drinking age or something. I don't know. It's just... Star Trek fans have a tendency to want to have
too
everything
much.
make sense and be explained in the way that Star Wars fans also do. And this leads to some really convoluted theories that how did you even think of, why did you they're two guys who look there's lots of people who look like lots of people in the real world. There doesn't have to be an explanation for it.
You're right.
Yeah, just go with it. Okay. We know that Chekhov.
Star Trek fans are incapable of just going with it, as we've established.
Yeah, it's like we know that Chekhov wasn't in Space Seed, but it's okay. Khan might have met him on the way to the transporter room or something. It doesn't matter. That's not the point of the show. It's not the point of the movie. Let it go. I mean, it's come on. Yeah, that was something I didn't expect. I was like, oh my god, I remember that episode with the. That was one of those Wesley Crusher centric episodes. So.
And speaking of Wesley Crusher, we got the return of Wesley Crusher in this Academy flashback to the events of the First Duty, and he's voiced by Will Wheaton. And we also had the original actress returning to play
Tito
Jaxa, the ill-fated
Bajoran
cadet and ensign, who had no idea that they were going to tie Mariner to her and have her be sort of Mariner's senpai, who of course died tragically. And of course, Lower Decks, the series, was inspired by Lower Decks, the TNG episode, which unsurprisingly is Mike McMahon's favorite episode of TNG. And I went back and rewatched the Lower Decks TNG episode after this season finale, and boy, does that episode hit different now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not that it wasn't tragic already with Cedo, going on this undercover mission and getting herself killed, but just knowing the implications of that it would have such an impact on Mariner, and that also getting out of the academy, right, basically during the Dominion War, and just this trauma that she has of not wanting to lose people, and that she's spent all these years sabotaging her own career because she didn't want to have to rise to the command level and have to gamble with people's lives. Really puts a whole new spin on Mariner all the way up to now.
Yeah, it does.
But it's consistent with everything we've seen before about her.
Exactly. Matter of fact, we get a little taste of this in season 1 when she gets that bump, and then she fights like hell to get to get bucked back down. And then watching all of season 3, where she's under the thumb of what's his name, Ransom. And she basically, starts to straighten up and fly right. And then in this season, she's starting to, degrade again. She's falling into the old cycle, and she has to break that cycle. And it's pretty cool that in this episode, she not only breaks the cycle, but she also gets help in breaking that cycle from the Klingon that we saw in Wedge Duj. What's his name? MAHQ. When he shows up on that planet with all the other castaways. And he talks some sense into her, and then she realizes that she's her own worst enemy, and that you're not honoring Cedo's memory by acting this way. And then finally she gets some clarity.
Yeah,
it's like one of the best moments for that character. Period. I'm glad to see it finally.
Yeah, but I gotta say I think that's the payoff in this season.
Yeah, I think so too.
Is that you, through the first 4 and 7/10 of the season, it's like, okay, Mariner's, why is she doing this? Is it just because both her parents are command level, or dad's an admiral? She's just acting out. It's like, no, it actually makes sense. It kind of goes back to some of the things that we've seen in other things with some of the other captains. You see it with Kirk and Wrath of Khan. You see it with Picard later on with Data and things like that. It's like when you have to make decisions that can get your friends killed.
Yeah,
it's not always the best thing, and it's like the dark secret of Starfleet. It's like Starfleet's this noble thing, but then if you're in the command structure, you're gonna have to make a decision where I may say something, and that guy that was across from me, or that woman that was across from me, won't be back. That I thought was, that to me is the best part of the season. I was like, okay, finally they really did this. I mean, all the other hijinks, I'm up and down on some of the things. When it comes to, I think the better episodes are where they don't play on the nostalgia so much, or the other episode stuff so much. But yeah, that was cool. I thought that was kind of the big standout thing. I mean, I think the parts of Mariner, and then you see the whole thing with Tendi, of kind of, she's the fish out of water. She's the, everybody thinks they're Ryans or something. She's trying to be not that way, but then, she's part of the most powerful family in Orion. And, it's all these other things. And then she makes the sacrifice for her friends. And I mean, it's great. I mean, I think the Ferengi episode is great too, because of, the sexual tension between her and Rutherford. And it's like, oh, well, won't they? And it's they're like, oh, this is all weird. It's like, no, it's really not. You guys are still into each other, but okay, maybe it was just too much. But Chris, anything else?
I gotta say, these last 2 episodes, Nick Locarno definitely giving big Eton High School energy.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Down to the Letterman jacket.
It's okay, so he screwed up. He got expelled from Starfleet Academy, and here he is, 13 years later, still like butthurt about it. And he's like, "I got my Nova Fleet now, and people are gonna respect me." And it's like, bro, like you
You
could
peaked
have
in
done
high
anything
school.
with your life.
And that's
But you
hilarious
did
because
this.
because you're like, wait, it's this advanced, it's in the future, they got all these problems solved, but yet people are still petty like that. Like it's like, he got expelled. Okay, he did a stupid thing. But yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely think this is a better season than season 3. I definitely enjoyed this a lot more. Yeah. And mainly because at first, when I'm like, oh crap, they all got promoted, I'm like, okay, how's this going to work? But then it's like, you actually get more. I think we got more of, especially of Mariner and Tendi this episode, or this season. But I mean, also to an extent, even Boimler and Rutherford a little bit about like their motivations of being within Starfleet. Because I think that's kind of the weird thing about it is like, because I mean, the funny thing about Star Trek is that when you start looking at this stuff, it's like, in some ways, why the hell would you join Starfleet? Like, I mean, think about this. The Federation, everything's solved. You have no poverty, you have no hunger, you have none of this. You can just go and do things to better yourself. Why the hell would you join Starfleet? Why would you go into these... What would motivate you to go into these ships and go out to the outreaches and stuff
For 5 years.
and even and even the exploration thing, it's like knowing that you're probably gonna die, and especially in the point of this show where it's like, after you just look at the long history of Starfleet, it's like, what was it, most of in Kirk's era, all the what was it, the Constitution class, the original ones, most of them didn't make it back. It's like, why would you do this? and that's where I felt it for Mariner. I was like, oh, okay, so she's just not being a fuck up just to be a fuck up, just because her just she's not rebelling against her parents. It made a lot more sense. And to me, that really sealed off the season this year. I was like, because at this point I was like, oh, that's good. And then when she had that whole discussion, I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And and this is weird because this is coming out of me, not Solbro. I would actually like them to do more the further character development.
Yeah.
In season 5.
They built up so much lore over the last 4 seasons for the characters in the show that it's starting to drive itself when it comes to their place in the show and how it impacts the stories, and they don't have to rely on so much Easter eggs and whatnot, even though they're there, but they're put into the show a lot more sensibly in a lot of places, especially in this season.
Yeah.
This season, I think, showed a lot of maturity on how they craft these episodes. I've loved the show regardless, but I think this season it's turned a corner.
It wasn't so dependent. The only thing I wish they would have done, and I guess this will go into, we could just, after this, we can go into some things that we didn't like about the season. The only thing I wish they would have done is it would have been cool if they would have, like, maybe adopted lower deckers. Like, it would have been kind of cool if, like, the lower deckers that we know of, once they get promoted, they kind of get assigned their own lower deckers. And, like, in some weird way, we kind of do this, I don't know, we kind of transition. I don't know if we necessarily need a transition because they're always still going to be the main characters, but it's like, it would be kind of cool to see, like, oh, okay, now they're junior officers, they have lower deckers, and then maybe in season 5 you have a episode where you just see it's just all those lower deckers that are assigned to them. They're complaining about Boimler, they're complaining about Mariner, so I don't know, maybe that's what they're going to do in season 5, but
They did introduce very briefly some characters, like in the Moopsie episode, there was that one red shirt that was with them that was fresh to the ship, and you see him hanging out with Livik, who's Rutherford's rival in engineering, who's also an ensign as well, and he's new to the ship too. I don't know if they're slowly like dropping these characters in, but that is super interesting. There was another character too, with the security team that I've never seen before. A woman with green hair who's smooth as shit. And in the confrontation on the bridge in that episode with the Betazoids, her mind couldn't be read by the Betazoids. She just knocked the Betazoid spy out, just from being just very zen and chill. But I want to know more about her. She's super cool. But those are some of the characters I
will kind of say that was like the episode I didn't like the most.
Oh no,
was the Betazoid one?
Oh
it was,
man,
yeah,
too much flashbacks to Luxwana. Is that what's up?
No, I don't hate Luxana, but I just didn't feel like it was. I'm like, okay, it was. I don't know. It just seemed. It could have been better. I just felt like, yeah, I'm not a Luxana hater. I know there are people out there that hate her. I don't know if you guys hate her. But
I don't. I never have.
I dislike some of her TNG episodes.
Yeah.
And I generally like a lot her DS9 episodes.
Same. I
mean,
because
I like the one
when she's around Deanna, she's kind of fucking insufferable as this
Yeah.
overbearing mom. When she's not around Deanna, she's a much more pleasant character.
Yes.
I didn't mind her with Odo, and I didn't mind the episode. I think it's the TNG episode where the dude's gonna die.
Yes. Yeah.
Like she falls in love with the dude that's gonna die. Like
which is not a Deanna heavy episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but in some way I always remember her part of it, and it's like, yeah. So it's not that I just was like, I just didn't. To me, it felt like if I'm gonna rank him from 1 to 10, it's like that's 10. Like it wasn't that good. So.
Damn. What do you think of Twainin?
It's
a way to solve all problems.
It is future of negotiations, son.
It did finally solve the problem on the internet for years about like did Janeway's a mass murder. She killed Tuvix.
Yes.
And it's like, she's a fucking horrible person. It kind of solved that because in the end it's it is the no one scenario. It's like, what do? You are causing a death of something. You are causing a death to a life form, but something that was never intended to be that. So it's the classic ethical dilemma. So, yeah. I mean,
but what you think about the Mark Twain stuff, though? The Twainin, the riverboat, Boimler.
Yeah, I mean,
it was so
I
dumb.
guess,
It was so dumb. I loved it,
I guess it was funny. I mean, it was kind of out of nowhere, but I'm like, okay,
it was the non sequitur of the season, but
yeah, I didn't really see that coming.
I loved it though. I don't know why. It's just because I love Time's Arrow, and the performance. Of the actor that plays his name's Jerry something, who played Mark Twain in that episode.
Martin.
Yeah, there you go. And he that character or that historical figure, it was cool to see him in that, and for them to bring him back in this way, I thought it was a silly thing, but it worked. It worked. I love that Captain Freeman just doesn't see the sense in it, but it works for everybody else. Man.
Yeah, I guess I'm more inclined with Captain Freeman at that point.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. So, guys, any things you didn't like? So, bro, you probably loved everything. So,
I mean, I mentioned earlier that I would love to see T'Lyn become a series regular, and not be missing like for a slew of episodes. That might be my major complaint this season. We didn't get a lot on as you guys mentioned, also Boimler. It's been a while since we've even delved into anything of his. Although I do like the fact that when it comes to his command experience, he got that moment in episode 2 where he was leading the ensigns to work on that power plant. and I think it was episode 2 or 3. I forget which one, but it was the one on the
Well, shit, he
the
was
Ring
acting. He
World.
was acting captain at the last episode.
Yeah, I was building to that, and then in the last episode, he was acting captain,
Yeah.
and he really filled those shoes well. So Boimler's grown a lot. I would like to get some insight on him and his past next season, and I think we might, because really they've dabbled in each one of the characters a little bit per season. So maybe we'll get that next season. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's just not a lot to Boimler. He didn't really seem to grow up in an adverse situation. To be honest, out of all the characters, I think there's more to get into about Rutherford and his time before the need for the cybernetic implant, and who he was beforehand. But I don't think they're going to really revisit that. I think they've said as much as they're going to say about that. So Boimler would be someone I would like to look at a little bit more. Outside of that,
we still also have Section 31 Boimler to see what
True.
he's up to.
Very true. And they may play into
So
that.
so what are we gonna? So I'm hoping in season 5 that somebody shows up that's voiced by Dennis Quaid. That'd be interesting, right?
Yeah,
With Boimler?
his
Yeah.
dad,
His handler or something.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid.
As long as it's not Randy Quaid.
Yeah, amen.
Well, no, that would be the.
Please no.
That would be the crazy one.
Yeah. But yeah, or I'll have Meg Ryan play his mom. That would be super cool too. You never know, we might get to see his mom next season. So yeah, outside of that, man, I don't have a lot to complain about, man. I think this show stepped it up a lot. As I mentioned, it turned the corner.
It's an
The way it
improvement
tells the
from season
stories.
3.
The animation, the animation, the budget has gone up. They've really gotten in the groove on how to animate these characters, especially during action sequences. Even with the ships, it's always a joy to see a new ship or a resurrected ship or a runback ship show up in this. The ship that Mariner was flying in the finale. I found out, of course, I remember it from, we just reviewed First Contact, and that ship is featured in it. Although I don't think we saw the bridge.
No, it's not.
It's not in First Contact.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
No,
First Contact.
this is a newly created small variant called the Saber Runner, not the Steam Runner.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the Steam Runner. My apologies. I thought so. It's the Saber Runner. Okay, I thought it was the Steam Runner.
It looks pretty much the same, but just much smaller.
Gotcha. Then strike that from the record. But that's still a cool ship, and it was nice to see. But yeah, they render ships nicely in this show. I even love the Cerritos and the California class now. I didn't like it when that ship first rolled out, but after watching season 1 and just becoming accustomed to seeing that ship, it's pretty cool. I want to know where the fuck they were in the episode 5 with the Bajoran ladies, not Bajoran, but the Betazoid ladies, where security went to that section of the ship, because we've never seen it before, and I don't know if they're in the cell or something like that, but I want to know exactly where in the ship they are. Because those hallways those corridors look really different. And I'm curious where that is on the Cerritos, but there's always like more to explore in that ship, and it's fantastic. But yeah, I don't have any too many notes, man. I'll pass it back to you, man.
Chris. Any
There's nothing that really
downsides?
stuck out at me as a bad episode. I would say that Pathological Fallacies is maybe the least episode of the season, but it's by no means a bad episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That everything else this season was better than it. So that's that would be my thing. Otherwise, not too much to harsh on with this season, because they just stepped it up in every respect over previous seasons.
Absolutely.
The final thing I say before the ratings is Starfleet, man. You gotta lock down those Genesis devices. You gotta lock them down. I mean,
what about that DLC? That DLC at the end.
Now they're miniaturized.
Yes.
It's like, come on. Like,
2 bars of gold press platinum, but son, you better have it on you.
oh, that was hilarious. I was like, that's the Ferngie's. Yes. It's always going to be about getting some gold press platinum.
Motherfuckers.
So, it's got to know who you're dealing with at that point.
Sure do.
Yeah, just like Captain Freeman did said it during those negotiations to the admirals. Like, you got to know what you're dealing with. But all right. Well, unless we have anything else, I guess we will go to our ratings. So I was going to say Soul Bro, but I'm going to go to Chris first. Chris.
Oh, I already know what he's going to go with too. Please.
Your rating for season 4 of episode Lower Decks, also known as Mid Decks.
I'm gonna give this 4.5 Polvord starbursts out of 5.
Oh man.
Ooh.
I was gonna say Moopsies wasn't.
I thought you were. I'm not.
Oh, I guess we know what Sobro is gonna say.
No, I got something different, sir. For me.
All right. Well, let's hear it then. So let's hear it.
Another season down. Now we got 40 episodes. If you've never watched the show before and you've been on the curious side of things, please check it out. It's a great binge watch. I'm gonna give this season the same 4.5 blinding nacelles out of 5.
Right. And I am going to give it 4 circular Genesis device activation units out of 5.
No,
I love that they use that stupid activation device.
The explosion's the same.
What? Well, yeah, the explosion's the same, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait, they're still using that stupid thing where they have the 3 different things. You enter in the code and you turn it. I'm like, wait a second, this is supposed to be the future. We're set in like something from like the 1880s. Oh my god, yeah. And then, yeah, I guess that was nice. They ended up naming the planet after him. So, because what would they say? He's part of it now.
His DNA scattered all over the place. Oh my god,
Yeah.
God knows what life they're going to find on that planet now.
It's like
Salamanders with Nick Locarno's head.
Exactly.
It's like
I need to see it.
It's like they were kind of assholes in Star Trek 3. They just called it the Genesis planet. They should have called it like, Khan planet. Khan and the Super Soldier planet. So
man.
But I guess that's why it was so angry. It wasn't because of Spock. It was just because it was reanimated with all the freaking super soldiers. So, guys, anything else we what out of here?
You already gave your score?
I gave it 4 out of 4 Genesis circular devices, activation devices out of 5.
Gotcha. Yo, shout out to Yaz. He says 4.5 death koalas out of 5. Then he changes it to 4.5 Ferengi walls. A financial shame.
I'm actually surprised that none of us did the Moopsies. I guess we all were afraid that everybody was going to take it from there. I guess I should have just did Moopsie.
It happens. If I went first, I might have gone for the low hanging fruit, but y'all forced me to be a bit more spontaneous.
I didn't force you to do anything.
Listen, guy.
It went to Chris and then went to you. You could have used Moopsie at that point.
No, it's cool.
You could have stolen it from me. I mean, it wasn't like I was going to use it.
It's all right. I'm happy with my choice. Or spontaneous babies out of 5. There you go. That's
spontaneous baby.
Yo, shout out to Brother Ferry. He's got a kid. Didn't they do that shit to my man in Enterprise? What's his name?
Trip.
Yeah, Trip got impregnated from a touch.
That poor bastard. That's actually, God, that's like a Gundam special. It's like how all the shit they did to that poor guy. Like he's like, I think in the pantheon of like, of course, the most tortured character is Miles O'Brien. But it's like, if you are engineer, you will be tortured in Star Trek, because it goes from like Miles O'Brien and then like the honorable mention is Trip, because that dude got blown up, impregnated. I mean, what the fuck else? There were so many things that happened to him in Enterprise.
So pointlessly in the finale.
Yeah, like it's
fucking so bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I heard that there's, and Chris, you probably watched it or listened to it, but I guess he does a thing with Malcolm, the
Yeah.
actor that played Malcolm.
I was
And
going to
they
bring that
talk
up.
about they talk about all that shit.
The
right?
Shuttlepod
Yeah.
show. The Shuttlepod show. Matter of fact, Robert Duncan McNeil is a guest on their show this Sunday. So if you guys want to see what his take is on that Lower Decks episode and his appearances in that and his directing and all that stuff, you can either listen to his podcast with Garrett Wong, or you can check out the Shuttlepod show over on YouTube and on wherever you get your podcasts. They'll be interviewing him on there. And yeah, shout outs to Conan Trenier, man. It was cool to see him and his co-host on that show. I forget that actor's name, but he made a slight cameo this season. Dominic Keating. He made a slight cameo this season too, with the puzzle game that the security members were playing. And then what was it? There was something else. I won't waste time. But
is that Chris? Is that an homage on when he got stuck to the freaking saucer? Remember when the mine got him in the Enterprise? Is that an homage to that when he tried to? Because remember he tried to take the mine off and like the mine, he was trying to defuse the mine and the mine like attached to him and he's like stuck on the freaking saucer. Oh my god. It's funny because Enterprise actually had some good episodes. The whole like season 2 and season 3 are actually, and even season 4 is pretty good. So but hey, what are you gonna do? It had Captain Sam Beckett. How could you go wrong with that?
He did, man. If anything,
And yet somehow they did.
Yeah, I got screwed.
That last episode, boy, oof.
Oh,
They need a mulligan on that for real. They just do, man.
what are you thinking? Like Paramount needs to just bring him back, de-age them all, and then just give them the proper send off. And it's kind of in some ways because the way they make that episode, it seems like, is Archer is so important for the founding of the Federation. It's like you kind of have to kind of give it that to him, right? So
They can always do like an aftermash, where it's just like a special, like they're doing with the Section 31 movie, where you catch up with the crew of the ship. Maybe they'll uncanify the last episode of the show, and Trip will still be alive and walking around. I would love to see that.
Why? Ooh, Chris, why do they hate him so much? Like they hated that character. Like they made him go through so much. Is it just that if you are an engineer, thus you must suffer? I know.
Central Florida to make him sad.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the whole Zindi thing.
The Zindi arc. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Remember they like blew up Florida
Their geography
all the way
was
to
off,
Brazil.
though,
Yeah.
Well, they rebuilt Florida because watching Lower Decks, you see Florida on the U.S. on the American continent. Somehow Florida came back.
It was like 200 years prior.
Yeah. They just filled in the hole. That's all they did.
Filled in All right. Anything else, guys?
Nah, man, it was a good episode, man. I'm always happy to revisit Lower Decks, man. I can't wait for season 5. Hopefully it's on Paramount Plus, but if not, I will follow it wherever it goes. There's no way it won't get a home somewhere, and I'm glad to hear that McMahon and the crew are working on it.
Plus. What is this thing you're saying here? Why
What,
wouldn't it be on Paramount Plus?
Well, Mike McMahon did come out a couple weeks ago and say that if you love a show, support it and let the higher ups at whatever venue is it on, let them know how much you love it while the show is still on, as opposed to waiting where it's in a prodigy position where it gets taken off a network and then all that stuff. But no, he's right though. If you want to let the higher ups know that it's something that you watch, it's what you subscribe to the service for, that type of stuff. And
none of that stuff really matters at the end of the day, because now these studios they'll take a tax write-off and shelve an entirely completed and filmed and edited movie like this thing we just learned about, Coyote versus Acme.
Yes, I heard about that.
Oh,
fan support,
I heard about that.
at the end, honestly, no, it doesn't really matter.
Damn.
Doesn't matter. There's always some bean counter who's going to come up with some fake Hollywood math.
Yeah.
And they'll do what they want. So don't get all fired up about what he said. It's meaningless.
And I heard the other thing, and I don't know how true this is, but the whole reason why stuff's like disappearing off the streaming now is they'll take it off is because the way the streaming residuals are kind of calculated.
Yeah.
It's based on how many people, I don't know if they either view or subscribe to the streaming service, and if the show is on that's how they don't necessarily have to be viewed.
Yeah.
But because the streaming service has this many subscribers or this many viewers, that's how they that's why you're seeing like shit just like being ripped off on these. That I don't know how true that is, but I saw it from like a reputable, like one of those Hollywood websites. So I guess it does kind of make sense that's I guess these are the things, not the old stuff, but like the newer stuff that has the streaming things in their residual contracts. That's what they do. That's how they circumvent it.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Or the old trick of having like a show run a couple of seasons, like 2 or 3, and then go and change the name of the show. And it's considered to be a brand new show, even though it's a continuation of the previous season.
Oh yeah, they said about that too. Yeah,
Disney Channel did that shit a shit ton back in the day, and now it's a common practice on streaming platforms, which is like, it's horrible. Like, people they're robbing people of residuals, they're robbing people of syndication residuals as well, because for a syndicated show, you have to have 65 to 85 episodes to be able to get residuals off it when it goes into syndication. And if you go and change the name of the show, that fucks it up. They're doing that to Yellowstone. No one here watches it, but they're doing it to Yellowstone soon, and I know some of the actors in that show are probably not going to be doing it.
Favorite show of Boomers?
The favorite show of Boomers? It's a decent show, but yeah, it is Boomer's favorite show.
Yeah, but it's a Boomer ass show if ever there was one.
Yeah. Well, I'm a fan of Taylor Sheridan's writing, so I mean,
is that the one with? That's the one with
Kevin Costner. Right? Yeah.
He's a cowboy, right, or something?
Yeah, he's a land baron, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, in Montana, and yeah, it's a compelling show, but it's just rich white people. What they should call it, Dallas Part 2. But yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? It's basically Dallas.
He's a little bit J.R. Ewing in him. I gotta say, I would be that would be an apt comparison. But yeah, man. Let me you guys make sure to visit MAHQ.net. That's the Mecha and Anime headquarters. If you've never been there, go there, hit the favorites button, and make sure to revisit. Check out that article. You guys heard about it today. It's the article memorializing right stuff. It was a great service. It was a great venue for anime fandom, and it is now gone, man. Treasure these places while they're still around, man. And check out Chris's write-up, and yeah. Make sure to go there and hit the favorites button and visit often. You can also find the links for everything out there, whether it be the podcast or Mecha Talk, the forum that we have our communications on. You can also find our Facebook there, and links to our other social medias from MAHQ as well. And thank you guys for supporting us. If you liked what you see here tonight, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up as well, so that we trend. And thanks to everybody who came out tonight. I see Yazi and Daniel Mason, and Robin, and I'm trying to see who else is here, but thank you guys for watching the show, and I'll turn it back over to you guys.
All right, it's Chris. Anything on MAHQ before we get out of here?
Nope.
All right,
everybody. Well, thank you for joining us for episode 284 of Gundam, and we'll be back in a few weeks with 285, and talk to you then.
これが私専用の赤い照り焼きだ。
ガーリックとベーコンの衝撃、赤いガーリック照り焼き。
辛さは最大限に生かす。それが私の主義だ。
スパイシーチーズとハラペーニョ、シャア専用体縁。
この感覚、アムロ、いやトリッチ。
トリプルチーズがニュータイプ、白いトリチ。
これでこそ私のマックだ。
シャア専用マクドナルドへようこそ。
Breakdown, baby.
I'm going in. Cover me, Porkins.
I'm right with you, Red 3. Got a problem here.
Eject!
I can hold it.
Pull up!
No, I'm all right.